we're using nods like names, all this stuff, themes. We can still pull that stuff from the film while also making it our own, giving it a little of our creative edge. And it's just the whole civil rights era setting will also differentiate it from other shows. You don't see a lot of shows, I know there's Mad Men set in the 60s, all that, but you don't see a lot of shows like that. It's more modern setting nowadays to kind of reflect our generation. But I still think that people will be able to relate to these characters because even though they're in prison, they're still human, they still have flaws, and the best characters in any TV show are flawed characters. And what better flawed characters are people in prison? So just think about that. And Frank Darabont directed the film, and he's done TV work. He was showrunner when Walking Dead first came on TV. So he's had experience with TV, and he directed the film. So we'd obviously get him on board.
Okay.
Any questions?
Well, first we want to hear like your guys' thoughts.
Yeah.
For those of you who have seen the movie, what did you like? What did you like about it?
You can fill out your questions too, just so we have better feedback.
Oh, you want them to each fill it out? Okay.
Yeah, if they could. I mean, if you have pens, probably not.
Or do you want to?
We can kind of just jot down with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jot it down.
Just take good notes.
Okay. So for those of you that did like the movie, or that saw the movie, what did you like about it? I'll start with you. You said you saw it, right?
Yeah, I don't know, I thought it was stronger on character development than action. Not a whole lot really happened in the film, but a lot of the characters still developed a lot. And you kind of have to see them unfold and see who's actually doing what.
So do you think our show should be less action-y and more about the characters?
I think if you're gonna nod very heavily to the movie, it should be more character development, but if you're just taking names and more basing it in the same universe, it can be more action-y.
We kind of want to find a balance because it is a TV show,
Yeah.
and we have to stretch it out over an 11-episode run. So.
You said you saw it, right?
Yeah, I
Okay,
saw it.
cool.
I enjoy the movie. It's an underdog story. I mean, who doesn't like the underdog? So, yeah.
Okay.
For those of you who didn't see the movie before you came here, or might have not really known about the movie before you came to the focus group, would this be a show you're interested in watching?
I think so.
You saw it,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think there's just enough, I don't know, the way you guys were describing the episodes, like there's parts where it gets a little slow, but then you pick it up with something else, and like that's something that every person likes to see when you leave them with something.
And we just gave brief synopses
yeah.
of each episode. I mean, we'd obviously tinker it, you know.
Well, yeah,
so
but I
there's
like
more.
the idea of like being slow and then picking it up with something
Yeah.
else. Like everyone loves a show like that.
Yeah, we think the ending really like
Yeah. That was a good little.
Yeah.
gets hardcore.
Yeah, I like that.
What type of shows do you guys usually watch? We're thinking that this is going to be like an hour-long drama, which seems to best fit like the storyline and everything. Do you guys usually watch a TV? Would you sit down for an hour and watch a TV drama?
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, everybody in the room is saying yes or no. Adam, what are you saying?
If it's good enough, yeah. It's hard for me to commit, but if a show's good enough,
Okay.
I can watch.
You can commit to our show. So you guys, you usually watch like hour-long dramas? Is that your
Nope.
no?
Like what you heard about this storyline, would it be something that would at least catch your interest to kind of try out for the first few episodes? Maybe not.
Maybe.
Yeah. What would you
What,
want to see differently?
What's making you hesitant?
It's making, I don't know, I know. Just thinking about the kind of shows I watch or get into, it doesn't sound like something I'd instantly, from the premise,
Yeah.
jump into. If someone told me it was good or something, then maybe let's say a website said it's phenomenal, you have to see it.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
feel
on
like that's the
Amazon.
case with a lot of TV shows.
Yeah.
They start slow, and once they get, once word spreads, then people start going back and watching seasons and being late to the game, and then they start following it. So, we don't want that to happen, obviously, but I think that's a common trend in TV shows, and hopefully people would would spread and people would pick up on, that's a great show.
Based on what you guys, those of you who have seen the movie, what you remember from the movie and what you really liked about the movie, what are some things that you would want to see in the TV show? You said you saw it, right?
What characters did you say were returning from the movie? Any?
No characters from the original are actually returning to our show. It's just that they're characters who are like characters from the movie, like.
And if that's the case, what I would like to see is Brooks Hatton. He's been in the prison for years in the movie. He should make an appearance. He would still be in the prison, according to your timeline.
Okay.
He's the librarian.
Okay. Wait, he kills himself in the movie.
This is after the movie, or
It takes
This is after
It
the
takes
movie.
place
yeah.
20 years after.
I thought it was a prequel. My bad.
But what I thought
It
you
would
were
still
kind
be
of
like-
leaning towards when you said that was the guy who, and I can't think of his name now, but the main prison, the head of the prison, the really like bad guy of the whole movie, he gets sent to prison on his own because of all the corruption and everything. But maybe we could somehow bring him back into the storyline a little bit. I mean, it's 20 years down the road, he wouldn't be
Yeah.
dead, but
He could be
it
around.
might be
And
interesting
even-
to see
Yeah,
him
other
back.
characters I'm sure would still be in the prison too
Okay.
at
Yeah.
that point in time. So
Even if we didn't bring like that character back, there would still be like mention.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we want like if you haven't seen the movie, do you mind me spoiling it? Okay. Well, at the end of the movie, Tim Robbins' character escapes the prison. This whole time he's been formulating his plan. He's been digging a hole in the wall and hiding like parts of it in his shoes, and he would go out into the yard and like get out of his shoes and pants and whatever, and like every day he would repeat this until decades down the road he had basically drilled through the wall and he escapes and he hit it with a poster. So we want that to be like a big inspiration in the show. Like we want characters to know about that. Like they could like make mention of it. Like you want to actually see Tim Robbins or Morgan Freeman's characters in the show, but like what they did wouldn't be forgotten.
Kind of like a legacy.
Yeah.
Anything else that you guys would like to see in it from the movie?
As pretty much just like you said, just nods to the movie, like because the escape was. Didn't they say in the movie that was like the first escape from Shawshank?
Yeah.
So
We kind of want this to be like there hasn't been an escape
Yeah.
since
Mhm.
the movie.
Yeah, so
So
it makes sense that they mention or bring it up.
yeah.
And you'd see like the
Hey, remember that guy who escaped that one time?
What were you
Well, somebody who hasn't seen the movie, as long as you guys keep it like distant enough from the movie where if outsiders like me were to watch the show, I would understand what was going on.
Yeah.
And the people that have seen it wouldn't know like what's gonna come.
Yeah, we wanna balance it like that. That's the only way I think we get a large audience. If we appeal to fans, but also cater to a larger audience. And I think the time setting will help that, make it more interesting, and just bringing in new characters.
And speaking of the time setting, do you like the time setting of our story?
I think it's perfect.
You think it's perfect?
I do.
Wonderful answer.
For what you're saying, you have an African American, and there's going to be that hostility between the rest of the inmates and the prison guards and everything like that. Originally, I was curious as to why you picked that time period, but then when you said he was an African American, it makes perfect sense.
We were originally basing it in the present, and then we realized that might be a little too far into the future from the film. And like we said, the whole civil rights era movement really lends a helping hand to the drama.
Was there anyone that didn't like the time period? No? Okay, great. That's cool. So based on our presentation that we just gave you and your knowledge of the film for people who have seen it, what are some things that you like about our idea?
Or dislike.
Or
Or
dislike,
change.
whatever,
Or add.
or that you think we should change, yeah. Yeah, what do you say? Anybody?
I like it all.
You
I
like
know,
it
it
all.
just sounds
She
good.
likes it all.
Sounds like something I would watch.
Like it.
Hopefully our audience is.
Wow.
If only we're that easy. Oh, I like it all. wanna stay about.
Oh, I have a question.
Right.
How do you plan on like bringing this past like a second season?
Bring it past the second season?
Right.
Okay, well, as we left it off with kind of like a cliffhanger, and actually that was only 11 episodes, so I think, and like a full season is usually like 22 episodes or something, so that was kind of just like our, you know, like the halfway break. Bringing it into like the rest of the season, how did you want to come back with it? There was something.
Well, like,
something you said.
the season ends with this confrontation between Bradford's side and Morgan's
Yeah.
side. They start forming alliances, getting people to their side, and like the season ends basically setting up this huge confrontation in the second season. It kind of comes to a head, and I was thinking we could also bring in, like, has anyone watched The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Zombies,
Well,
right?
then you know.
Zombies. Everyone's a zombie.
You know who the governor is then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking we could bring in a governor type character, someone who like just comes in and ruins everything for like both sides and just kinda wants to take control of every aspect of the prison without the guards getting like on his case. It would be different for Bradford.
Sorry, would he be new to the prison, or is he someone that steps up?
Someone who's new, he comes in, but he's like a repeat offender, I guess you could say. He's worked his way up through the system to Shawshank, and he just kind of takes control and steals Bradford's supremacy away from him, stuff like that.
And of course, with like the time period that we're in, we can really play on the historical context of what is happening, because that plays a huge role into how prisons were ran and what happened in a prison. So we can always take, you know, like we said, we don't want to keep it just in the prison for every single episode. So we can pull out of the prison and show what's going on in the civil rights movement. We could show an episode where people who were in the civil rights movement and might have got arrested for protesting or whatever get put into the prison, you know, for a little bit of time or something, and to keep like the people who are in the prison informed of what's going on with the whole civil rights movement outside of the prison walls.
I mentioned Mad Men before. They do a lot of historical things like that because they're set in the 60s. Like, I just watched an episode the other night, the newest one, where the whole episode was about the death of Martin Luther King Jr. and just how that affects like the characters in the show. So something like that, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Anything else? No?
So you guys would watch it? Yeah?
I would.
And Adam,
Or at least
give
give
it
it
a
a
try. Give it a try. But,
Shares like that dot in the graph who's like way out here.
I know.
He's an outlier.
Well, thank you guys for coming. It was a huge help to us, and you guys were really good. So please take food on your way out.